I think Sean Crawford's the guy, and I think Nick Coleman is coming on. Drew Tranquil and Cole Luke have been doing a great job this offseason helping our younger players understand how we want to get things done on the defensive side of the ball, and they've done a great job in their leadership role in the classroom and on the field in the player run workouts. I think first we have to talk about the mentality of the secondary and how we have to play top down. For a great secondary, we always want to double the up for a route when we can and challenge the intermediate throws. And I think that if you start with that philosophy, you can really help yourself. Also, eye discipline. Last year we got caught looking in the backfield too many times with regard to play action, jet sweep, things like that, and didn't have the proper eye discipline to put us in a position to be successful down the field. And I think that, once, the younger players focus on their eye discipline, I think we can get a lot better on the back end with regards to eliminating big plays. He's one of our smartest defensive backs. He has a very high football IQ. He's done a great job of communicating with the younger players and, trying to help them understand, the way we go about doing our things defensively. But I think his attention to detail with regard to his fundamentals and technique and his eye discipline have really improved his game. He's done a lot better in his pace pedal, staying down, playing in a better athletic position, and knowing where his eyes are supposed to be and focusing and concentrating on his technique every play, because, we always talk about, the level you train in is the level you're going to play in.
He's talking about it.
You know what I mean? And so you're going to sink to your level of training. So, we try to train at a high level so we play at a high level. And that's what I've been trying to, communicate with our guys with regard to their play and our consistency. Max has done a better job of, playing with greater effort. Play in and play out. These last couple of practices, he struggled a little bit because, he feels like his legs are a little bit tired. But, Max is a really, really good athlete, and he's a very strong player. And I think Max has to realize that his true strength is getting stronger when everybody else starts to get tired. And, if he can play from that mindset, because he's an older player, he's been in the system going on his third year, so he has a really good understanding of what Coach Van Gorder wants. I just think he needs to just, bring his leadership along and lead from the front as opposed to be a guy that leads by example. See, he got injured going into camp and, which really set him back. But, fortunately for us and for him that, he was here in the spring, got a lot of reps there and, has a good understanding of our defense. He is behind the eight ball a little bit, but Devin is the type of player where he can catch on really quickly because he's a fast learner. And he'll have a lot of production because he's just one of those guys who's the ball hawk, and he makes a lot of plays. He had a pick six for a touchdown the other day, and he just always has a nose for the ball. And, those are the type of guys that you're looking for. He has really good football instincts, and if he plays to those instincts with greater understanding of our defense, then he'll be fine. Dante Vaughn, he's a guy that stands out, because of his stature. For a big man who's almost 6'3", his flexibility is unbelievable. And, he's a little bit dinged up right now. He's got a little bit of a hip flexor that he's dealing with. But I think that if he just comes along and, obviously improves in the mental and physical toughness area, he'll be a guy that we can rely on, especially down in the red zone where the fade ball comes into play. And I think that, the more that he gets in and has a greater understanding of what we're trying to do defensively, and improves on his technique, then he'll be a productive player for us this year for sure. Jalen Elliott is another guy that makes a lot of plays, very fast. At the safety position, it's a little bit more difficult because there's a lot more into it as far as the mental makeup and getting guys lined up, and you have to have a greater understanding. And on the corner, it's a little bit more individualized, a lot of man-to-man. It's the system is a little bit more simpler for corners. Safety is a little bit more complex, and so there's a lot on Jalen's plate as far as what he has to learn. But he's improving every day. He comes in to watch film. He's very aggressive with his learning. He wants to take it all in, and obviously there's a lot of information that he has to learn and he has to sort through that. But again, I think that he's a guy that's going to be able to get on the field and make plays for us. Cole, this is going into his third year in the system, and Cole's played a lot of football here. He's a very confident player, very smart with regard to his FBI. Has done a great job of taking a leadership role in the secondary. But I think for the most part, Cole knows that, he needs to have a big year in order for us to be successful. And we're going to rely heavily on him and his playmaking ability. He's a guy that can make plays on third down and get us off the field. And, I think that he is very confident in his ability. but his attention to detail with regard to his technique has really increased, and he's really getting his hands on his ball and making a lot of plays for us. And I think that we'll have a lot of production out of Cole Luke this year.
Can you give an example of something he's doing now in fall camp that you might not have seen last year at this time?
I think he's playing with a better body position. I think Cole Luke sometimes, earlier in his career, he would play tall and he wouldn't have enough knee bend and didn't play with a lot of flexibility. But this year, he's really concentrating on staying down, staying in a much better athletic position, which gives him better reactive athleticism. Obviously, we want to talk about, mentality first. We always want to talk about taking the ball away and being very conscious of that. I think that, defensively, we've done a much better job, with always bringing it up and having it on the player's mind, you know what I mean? Because it's got to be a mindset first and foremost, and then it's got to be an attitude, and then it's got to be an aggressive way of play. First guy in, make the tackle, second guy in, take the ball away. When the ball is in the air, it's not good enough just to get the pass breakup and get the ball disruption. We got to take the ball away to shorten the field for our offense. And I think that, we've been doing a better job of, making plays at the end of the route, but for us, it's got to be mindset first. I mean, obviously that, Julian's our second nickel right now, and we're kind of focusing him on being on the inside because we really like his reactive athleticism. With Troy's speed, we wanted him to learn and get very comfortable with the cornerback position before we decide to moving him inside, because sometimes if you put a player both inside and outside, especially as a young player, there's a lot of crossover. And so the learning becomes very difficult, and also the fundamentals and techniques become very difficult, and they don't really progress. So sometimes if you isolate a player to a particular position, their learning curve is much higher. Yeah, having Dante Vaughn has been unbelievable. He's a great addition to our secondary. When 3 years from now, Dante Vaughn is going to be an elite player, and really, really like working with him. Great young man, great teammate, eager learner, and he's the type of player that can get things done and make plays at the end of the route due to his length, and he can really give offenses problems. And so we really like his ability to be able to match up on key guys and just try to take him out of the game. And I think that he'll be one of those shutdown corners when it's all said and done. They got to get out there and they got to get after it. And, practicing and training against our offense is tremendous because we do so many things offensively with regard to scheme. And so they're going to see a ton. And I think that when they get in the games against other opponents, they'll be well prepared, you know what I mean? But how will they react under the bright lights and on the big stage? That's another thing. But these are big-time high school football players that came to Notre Dame to play in big-time situations, and so I think they'll be ready. See the Stanford game. I mean, we kind of played a little bit of a prevent defense, had a penalty early, let an easy catch in over the seam, and it's just funny because we were talking, before that Stanford game about denying vertical penetration, and we didn't get that done from the nickel spot. We let a guy run down the middle of the field wide open, and the safety play was a little bit too soft. I think, for us, I would like to stay aggressive, with the way we play. And, I think that we're an attacking style defense. And if we stay with that mentality, we'll be fine.